I've been noticing just how much our moment to moment experience is filled and overflowing with assumptions. We step into our every experience in the company of our assumptions. They're with us everywhere we go. They are what inform our ideas of what can happen, how it can happen, what something is, what something can be. And that's even if we have the awareness of what something can be. We're so under the illusion that we know what something is that we forget the space that is present in everything for something different to arise, for something different to appear, for something more to be known to us. And this is really evident in the conversations that we have day after day, and the interactions we have moment after moment, where we literally and unquestioningly allow ourselves to be informed by, to be directed by, to be influenced by everybody else's story of the way things are, everybody else's story of what things are and how things can be and how they happen and so on and so forth, that we're literally so absorbed in this apparently external world that we forget we have the choice to question. We forget that we have the option to question. We overlook our own power to be curious about what's actually here, and we go by the presentation we're offered by those around us. So, someone you work with, for instance, comes up to you and says, "This is the way things are." Most of the time, you don't take a moment to question that. You don't take a moment to go, wait, this information that I'm being given here is a translation, is an interpretation of this particular individual's understanding of the way things are. It's not truth, it's not fact, it's not concrete reality. It is an interpretation, a perception that we're being offered. But so often we don't take that breath, we don't take that beat, we don't take that pause, that when we're offered information like that, like this is the way things are, this is what's happening, we take it and run with it. We add to that story, we add to that pattern, whether or not it serves us. We contribute to it. We take that story and we go, yeah, okay, so this is the way things are, and we perpetuate it. And in that, we fail to give ourselves the option of change, the option of something different, the option of a different possibility to emerge. Whatever field you move into, you are changing that field. Whatever experience you move into, you have the potential to change that experience, because what you plug into it, what you feed into it, what you introduce into it, can influence, alter, change, collapse, delete the pattern altogether. Whatever the outcome you're looking for, you are the wave, the form, the pattern, the presence that you bring into the experience. But most often we are so readily embracing of another's interpretation of the way things are that we forget that we have the possibility of being the miracle in the room. We have the possibility of being an agent of change and a catalyst for change in that situation, experience, story, or event. So, and you see this in so much of our waking experience. The pattern is just to plug into stories and take them as they are, unchallenged, unquestioned, unexamined. We look at what we're looking at, and we hear what we hear, and we go, okay, that's the way things are. This is what's happening. This is how it's happening. And we turn off our creative power, our creative ability, our inherent creative, magnificent potential to introduce something different into that scenario, into that event, into that story. So it's so important to take a pause every day, every waking moment, and ask, where am I just unconsciously participating in someone else's version of the way things are? Where have I given my creative power? Where have I given up my creative power, my awareness of my contribution, my energy, my flow, my attention, my focus, my emotions, my thoughts? Where have I given up creative control and the ability to creatively participate in whatever the situation is by accepting this version of this is the way things are and this is what's happening? And I'm amazed how often this happens, no matter the situation, no matter the scenario, no matter the bubble of information you're being presented with. There's a moment of choice where you can either be a creative participant or a passive participant. The difference being, if you are a creative participant, you recognize that you are the sole creative owner of your personal reality, that this information that's showing up isn't a done deal. It isn't a complete deal. It isn't a finished product. That if it's showing up in front of you, if it's showing up around you, if it's showing up as the landscape of your waking experience, you do have the choice to creatively contribute, participate, and or influence whatever this is that's happening around you, and the others be to be a passive participant, where you literally allow everything else around you to drive, direct, and influence you and how you move through this experience. And one is an empowered choice, one is an awakened choice, one is a choice in which you recognize just who you are and what you're capable of introducing and what you are capable of infusing patterns around you with. Whereas the other is you're literally driven by the reactions and assumptions and stories that show up without consciously checking to see if this is actually even a field, a pattern, an unfolding that you want to participating in. That in that passive participatory role, you keep yourself unaware of your creative power. You keep yourself sort of in the off switch of creativity. And it's important to notice where you are relating from when it comes to the things that are showing up around you, when it comes to the stories and patterns that are showing up around you. You want to ask yourself, if you want to experience the full potential of your creative power, you want to ask yourself, whatever it is, however big a story or however small a story it is in your experience, you want to ask, where am I in relation to this? You want to make that measurement and see whether A, you're looking at it from a place of disempowerment, where you're seeing it as the circumstance, condition, event, where you're seeing it as being the decider of your experience. B, you want to look to see what you're contributing to it. Are you perpetuating a story of limitation by the way you're participating in the story through your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, your assumptions? Or are you contributing something that will come back to really serve you in ways that you can't imagine? So you want to see what your relationship is to whatever's showing up. Am I a creative participant in this? Am I awake to my creative participation in this event, in this story, in this unfolding? Am I allowing it to direct me and influence me, or am I contributing something that is uniquely my own? Am I going by the assumptions and reactions of those around me and deciding that their version of the way things are is all there is? Or am I awake to different possibilities? Am I awake to my power, my creative connection, my infinite resources of change and difference and growth and possibility here? Am I awake to that? So it's really useful to question the relationships that you're forming to the patterns, events, circumstances, and unfoldings around you, because you will notice just how much of your own creative power you are bringing into things, how much of your own flavor you are giving to things. And in that recognition, you will see and demonstrate to yourself, first and foremost, just how much access and influence and presence and force and power you have in your experience. I think every situation that shows up has immense power within it for you to access, leverage, and use. And more often than not, you can flow through your reality in a way that you are actually making use of what's being made available to you through all that shows up, through everything that shows up. But the usage of that, the plugging into that power that is always readily available to you, no matter the event, no matter the circumstance, no matter the condition showing up, the usage of that is determined by where you're relating with these events, with these potential sources of power from. Once again, if you are in that place of awakened creative participation, you'll really show yourself the true name and true form of who and what you are. And if you're not, if you're in that play of forgetting, in these moments that you take a pause, in these moments you take a beat to just question, you will reawaken yourself to the creative magic that's always flowing through you. So it's useful to take a beat, it's useful to take a pause, it's useful to stop and ask, what relationship am I creating with this thing that's showing up? How am I relating to it? Where am I relating to it from? It'll make a difference in how you continue to move through your world.